Genshin Impact sucks. Now I know that might be a little surprising coming from me because in the past Genshin has been one of my favorite games to play, and it's a game that I would recommend everyone play at some point because I really did enjoy it a lot. But now we're here, and I really honestly think Genshin might be the very worst of the big gacha games right now because the dev team is just incompetent. I don't know what they're doing. It just seems like they can't do anything right. Like Natlan, in my opinion, has been a massive flop. And I'm gonna say this now so no one takes my words out of context. A lot of this video is going to be opinionated. I mean, the title is literally an opinion. There are some things in this video that are going to be objective, but I'm definitely going to tell you when I'm speaking objectively, so no one takes my words out of context and makes it sound like I'm saying things that I'm not saying. So let's jump right into the meat and potatoes of this garbage. Let's talk quality of life. Why does it seem like Genshin is almost always the very last of the big gachas to implement good quality of life stuff? Like the fact that Genshin still doesn't have a reserve resin system is criminal. Like, this is ridiculous. Wuthering Waves has it, Honkai Star Rail has it, Zenless Zone Zero has it, but Genshin still doesn't have it, which is so strange to me because I feel like Genshin needs reserve resin more than any of the other games. And there were so many quality of life things in Honkai Star Rail and even Zenless Zone Zero and Wuthering Waves when they released that Genshin didn't have and had to be implemented much later on, which just seems really strange to me because, you know, ZZZ and Honkai Star Rail are also made by Hoyoverse, but the Genshin dev team specifically just seems like they take so long to add anything quality of life related into their game. It just doesn't make sense. And the thing is too, I don't think all of us really realized how bad Genshin's quality of life actually was until these other gachas released. Especially for me, Wuthering Waves really showed how bad Genshin feels just to play on a daily basis, or even not a daily basis, just to play in general. And there's more to that quality of life stuff, but I'm gonna save that for later because there's some other stuff that sort of ties into quality of life too. Now, the next thing I wanna talk about is probably the most important thing in existence when it comes to a gacha game, and I think Genshin does this so objectively bad, it honestly pisses me off. And that's the economy in this game. Now, there are two economies when it comes to a gacha game. I like to split the economy into two sections, one being basic economy and the other being premium economy. Basic economy is just stuff like Mora, XP books, weapon level up material, just the stuff that you're using pretty much every day you play the game. And then premium economy is obviously just primogems, what you use to pull characters. Now, here's the thing. Genshin does both of these things so terribly it hurts. Starting with the basic economy, dude, I have to farm Mora and XP books with my resin more often than any other gacha game I play in this game. And maybe by some really loose standard, you could say that this is my fault for having too many characters, but like, I cannot keep up with the amount of characters that I have in this game because I just can't get the mats in a reasonable amount of time to get them all leveled up, to get their talents all leveled up, to get their weapons maxed. Everything takes so much in this game. Then obviously I have to go farm artifacts to build those characters, and good lord, don't even get me started on artifacts, dude. I'll touch on that in a second, but before I do that, we need to talk about the premium economy because getting primogems in this game feels like a drag. It is so slow. Straight up, exploration does not give you enough in this game. It feels like such an absolute drag and I hate it. I'm not incentivized to go explore in Genshin, like at all. Because as much as I would love to open a luxurious chest to 10 whole primogems, I really just don't want to do it, especially when you have Wuwa dumping 40 asterite in your lap for opening a chest. It just feels bad. And then you have these ridiculously long world quests that are just yap fests on yap fests that give you negligible rewards compared to the amount of time you're spending listening to these NPCs dialogue for 40 hours. Like, the reward does not offset the amount of suffering that I have to go through to get it. Then a lot of the events in Genshin are just repeats or reskinned versions of old events, which feels bad to play. It's like, yeah, we've already done this event 4 times. Do we have to do it again? Then on top of that, they're doing stuff like releasing Citlali and Mavuika at the exact same time. Like, this is just a Whales banner, and it's becoming a Whales game because farming primogems absolutely sucks to do and it takes forever. And if they're going to be releasing double banners like this with new characters, that is just going to be so unbelievably dog shit. And now I'll talk about artifacts. Artifact farming needs to be reworked from the ground up. The fact that it might take me months, even a year, just to get one character built well is unbelievably stupid. And I know there's gonna be someone that's like, oh, well, they added the little typewriter gadget that guarantees you an artifact even with the rolls you want. That's really good, right? Kinda, like not really though, because that artifact still has to roll well, and odds are it's probably not going to. You guys know how long it's been since Shan Yun came out? I still don't have my Shan Yun built, and I've been farming her pretty much every day since she released. Let that sink in. Pretty much every day, I have been farming for this character, and she's still not built. That's ridiculous. And she's not the only one. There are plenty of other characters on my account that I would love if they were completely built now, but they're just not, because I need to farm their artifacts out, and it just keeps taking so unbelievably long. Like my Xiao, for example. That's another one I can name off the top of my head. And hell, even half the characters that I have built at this point still aren't exactly where I'd want them to be in terms of their stats. Like, farming in this game just sucks. It takes forever to get anything you want, and it's just awful, dude. Like, it just feels so unbelievably bad. And now I'm just gonna talk about the Natlan update as a whole, every single patch, because I really feel like Natlan is the worst region we have gotten to date. Obviously, this is just my opinion because I know there are a lot of people out there that really did like Natlan, but me personally, I just don't like it for a lot of reasons. Starting with the character designs, I don't think there has been a single Natlan character that has released where I've been like, yo, that character looks sick. There hasn't been a single one. All of them look so unbelievably mid to me. I just can't. And it's not even just that I don't like the designs. I just feel like they don't fit in Genshin. It just doesn't make any sense. Like, it's kind of ruining the identity of this game for me. Like, because of Natlan, I don't really know what Genshin is and what Genshin isn't at this point. Like, what's off limits? What kind of universe are we really in? Because before, with Mondstadt, Liwa, Inazuma, Sumeru, and even Fontaine, it was pretty easy to see what kind of game Genshin was. I could look at Genshin and be like, oh yeah, this is like a medieval-esque, high fantasy, you know, dragons and magic kind of game. But now you have characters that have DJ sets and motorcycles. Like, what are we doing? I guess the best way of saying this is it really just takes me out of the game and just ruins the immersion for me completely. And coming off of that, I feel like that kind of ruined the story for me because, like I said, it just took me out. I couldn't really feel immersed in the story or really care about what was going on because everything just didn't make that much sense to me visually speaking. It's like you have this very tribal, bare bones looking nation, but then there's people with DJ tables and motorcycles riding around. It's like, what the hell is going on? Then you had moments in the story where it was like, oh my god, there's a big war going on, people are dying, this is tragic, you need to get to all these battle hotspots and save everyone, but you're gonna take this hot air balloon ride that's gonna take you 5 minutes to get to your destination. So that makes sense. And then back to the characters, these new Natlan characters are literally power creeping everybody. Shallonen power crept Kazuha, Mualani power crept literally every Hydro DPS in existence, Mavuika power crept pretty much every Pyro DPS in existence, and sub DPS if I'm being honest, and Citlali is probably the best shielder in the game because her kit scales off EM, so she gets a lot of reaction synergy. So yeah, everyone's getting power crept, and it's not just by like a little bit. Like, the damage that Mualani does was like game breaking when she came out. Like, it's insane. And I know like power creep isn't like the biggest issue in Genshin because the end game isn't like super demanding of you, but like it is still something that is just really annoying. Like, you spent all this time building and pulling these old characters that you really love, and then a new character comes along and just absolutely wipes the floor with them. Then you have all these Twitter bots that are going like, L this character, W new character. It's like, shut up, dude. And that's honestly part of the problem, how much the community just feeds into this garbage. And then another thing about Natlan, and this is probably the one that bothers me more than any of the other ones, and that's that the exploration mechanics are awful. This is probably the worst new exploration mechanic implementation I think I've probably ever seen. The way I describe these new exploration mechanics in Natlan is it's like exploration mechanics light edition, because you can realistically only use these in Natlan because you have to use your phlogiston meter to do it, or whatever the hell it's called. And even then, that's kind of annoying that I have to keep getting stuff in the world to recharge this meter so I can use this new cool flying ability that I just got. I just hate how these were implemented because the meters go down so quickly. It doesn't really feel like you get to really use these exploration mechanics, especially when you go back to the old regions and maybe want to do some exploring that you hadn't finished before. You can't really use these new Natlan exploration mechanics that are on these characters that you pulled. Like, it would be so cool to be able to take Chasca back to Fontaine and just fly around Fontaine or fly around Inazuma or whatever. But you can only do that for like 3 seconds and then it runs out. So you really can't get any use out of this stuff. Unless, of course, it's in Natlan, which I just think is so unbelievably annoying. And because of all of that stuff, this has been the first big Genshin update that I just haven't really wanted to play all that much. Like, I've just played the quest and then like, that's it. Like, I don't really want to do anything else. It just doesn't motivate me to play it because it feels like at every turn, the Hoyoverse devs do not care at all about making the game more fun and enjoyable for the player. They just want to FOMO you into pulling these new characters and spending money because, oh look, they have these new cool exploration mechanics, but you can't really actually get much use out of them, but they won't tell you that. It just sucks, man, because I used to really like playing Genshin. Genshin was one of my favorite games to just go chill and have a good time on, but now this game just feels upsetting because the quality of life sucks, the economy sucks, and Natlan just as a whole is a flop, for me at least. But hey, at the very least, I can go play Wuthering Waves.